Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be going through the Geelong Cats versus Melbourne Demons game played at GMHBA on the Friday night. As part of the Friday night review, this is a sole game because it was the only game on tonight on the Friday, but we'll have next week, I think we have 2 games on the Friday, so you get the double recap there. And then you'll have on Saturday, the next game review will be the 3 games that we have there. But this game pretty much showed Goodwin is as good as gone. 0-4, out of ideas. Him and also Michael Voss in their press conferences after looked absolutely dejected. They had nothing left in the tank almost. It looked like that's what it looked like. They were almost out of ideas. So both of them have struggled to rebuild on the run as well. Or not rebuild, but also just sort of reintegrate more players, more ideas, I guess, on the run. And they've looked out of ideas. And Melbourne, they could be in trouble with Tassie on the horizon. But anyway, let's get into this game. So I've recorded this enough times to realize Zach Guthrie, if you take out this 149, he averages only, I think, 80. I think it's 239 in 3 games, which is just below 80. Roughly, let's call it 80. So I just don't think you're going to see this regularly from him and enough. And the 17 marks that he takes, if you actually equalize the marks for Geelong to a 90 mark level, which is, I think, league average. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be league average. Let's actually just double check this for 2024, we'll go to team stats and we'll go to here and we'll go to AFL and we'll go to, where is the marks? Contest possessions, where's the marks? Give me the marks. So total. So league average for marks was 92.4. Geelong 88. So we will take the league average for marks. And they had 162, I believe it was. I could be wrong. Let me just double check that, because that would even make these marks a little bit more off kilter. They had in total 165 marks, and we are saying that they will average 92, which is the league average. 92 divided by 165 gives you a ratio of their marks being 0.55. Then we times that by Guthrie's marks in general, times that by 17, he ends up with 9.4 marks, 9.5 marks per game. So that takes away already roughly, if we give him up to the 10 marker, we'll round it up for him. That still takes away 7 marks. If this was a normal game, 7 marks, that's probably roughly about 40 points or so, which puts him at a 108, 107. And then obviously everything else included. So if you take that out, his scoring kind of decreases. Bailey Smith, you'd see him go down to like 4 or 5 marks, which doesn't take too much out of his scoring. He still scores probably a 110, 105 and a 100 SuperCoach or so. Lawson Humphrey probably takes a lot out of him. Tom Stewart a little bit as well. If we do use that same ratio of 0.557 times by the 11 for Stewart, you get him at 6 marks. So that takes away about, he'd probably end up in about 90, 95 SuperCoach. So that's why I want to watch him next week in case they don't have 148 uncontested marks, which was the Geelong record. Geelong record for uncontested marks in a game. So that's why I really want to watch these defenders for another week, just to see, as I think that Holmes could take some of the points back off of them as well as them just dropping points in general. Ollie Dempsey, Graham Myers, Jeremy Cameron. Then we get Connor O'Sullivan. Connor O'Sullivan is one that when you've recorded this enough times, you'll know what you're going to say. But yeah, if we go to Connor O'Sullivan here, you'll see that his, and we look at his cash generation. And I just wanted to point out as well for Tom Stewart, if you wanted to grab him, you get to wait a week or 2 and grab him, and we'll show here. So he scores 103 again, Tom Stewart scored 118 against Melbourne. He's going to probably score about 110 against Adelaide. Then he bottoms out against Hawthorn or their next opponent after that, which is Carlton. So that's where you're looking at. For the sake of Connor O'Sullivan, if we put him scoring 75s and then we adjust this to the 103 that he scored against Melbourne and adjust this, you'll see, obviously, let me just do a 70 here or something like that, just to sort of not kill off his cash gen, but sort of minimize it just fractionally. Let's just put some various scoring in here, something like this, then a 76 or something, and redo that. And you'll see he's kind of still making cash, but he kind of tops out at around that 370 marker. If we just say he scores like a 50 here, just to stuff that cash gen in there. So yeah, he kind of stops out at around that 360 marker, which is about 100k, 95k if he is scoring that mid 70s range. But if he does drop a 40 here, say against Carlton, he drops a 48, which is his lowest score of the year. If he drops a 48, cash gen is done and you've made 60k on Connor O'Sullivan. That's why I'm really worried about him, because yeah, he drops a 55 here, then an 85 here. If this is even just bang average of 70, you'll see that he really just drops in cash gen and really doesn't make much cash. So that's why I'm really worried about him, and why you're probably just going to have to cop it with him, all the scores that he does do in the future. And like I said, with Geelong, with their plays in general, with Guthrie and Stewart, his marks will drop. His marks will drop because if we take 0.557 of 13, then 0.557 times 13 is about 7 marks. So we dropped 6 marks. 6 marks is about 40 points or so on both. And 40 points on both puts him at a 60. So yeah, I just think that that's more realistic, him scoring a 60, 65, than him scoring a 103 on the regular. As I think we've seen teams put up huge scores against the likes of Melbourne in the back line. Dangerfield is going to get forward status, but isn't going to score enough, I think, to be a top liner. Manor, no. Atkins, DeConey scored really well, but that was kind of, as you look here with all the defenders here, was that 30, 41, 41, 50, no, not 51, 54, and then we go down here even further, 54, 63, 63 marks taken between, I think, the back 6 effectively that played full games. So that just probably shows to you how much more marks than they usually get. That's like almost league average for the whole team, just in the back 6, I think, or even back 5 it might have been. So that's 30 between 2, 41 between 3, 54 between 4, and then 63 between 5 guys in the back 6. I don't know who their next back 6 guy was, but yeah, you can just see how annoying it is that they're just all their guys scoring really, really well in the back 6, and DeConey was one of them. He scored pretty well, but didn't score that outlandish score. Is going to go down in price in SuperCoach. Will go, I think, rough up a bit in fantasy, maybe 20k or so, but still a guy that you want to trade out because they're not going to do this regularly, and he's probably going to drop a 50 soon. So yeah, not too worried about him. And then no one else really for the likes of Geelong, just to watch on Connor O'Sullivan's role, because they will have Colin Jasny coming back, but it looks like Henry's done a hammy. So there's that. Stephen May, 106, 123. He did really well. 27 touches, 10 marks at 85%. Topped the SuperCoach scoring across both teams. Clayton Oliver, 30 touches, 5 marks, 3 tackles and a behind for a 104-98 split. Probably got stuffed over that Melbourne lost this game badly, that he's SuperCoach, so it was a little bit negative. Also had a little bit more time on the bench than probably he should have. He should have been starting the centre bounce, I think. But yeah, 104-98 split from him. Not the worst, not the best, I would say. Max Gawn, 95-122. If he decided to actually mark the ball, he had 2 or 3 clangers from marks, as well as not having an actual effective disposal in the first quarter and a half. If he does that, then he ends up probably on a 105, 110, and then a 140. So that's the problem with Gawn, and I saw this in a lot of the content creators saying this today as well, is that Gawn's a failed pick across that. We know that. Gawn's a failed pick because he's losing cash. He's not averaging what we want him to average. The problem with that is it's not as much a failed pick as what you would almost classify, because, and I look through this and I'll look through the fantasy for you as well. If we go to Stats Center, we go to all club, no, we go to all positions, and we go to rucks, and we go to average here. Tom DeConey, smashing it. Rowan Marshall is still -6 or so on his average, so that's not too bad, but you wouldn't have picked him after 1 round or whatever, because he had that Harry Boyd, had that forward role, and Harry Boyd had scored pretty well. Like, he scored 64, 142, 123. So he's probably a guy you want to try and switch Gawn to if you can. Darcy Cameron, he's done all right, but he hasn't done outstanding. I don't know if this is, I want to actually check what's his fantasy average last year was 96. So he's done all right, but he also had an effective average. If we look through here, if we go through here, and 136 gets taken out. So you go and see he's averaging actually effectively over only 100 or so. Jared Witts has played 2 games. So you wouldn't want that extra buy round. Luke Jackson's going to go back to a forward, so that's not good. Tristan Cherry is still minus, I think, 16 on his average. Toby Nankervis is averaging 96, so that's not even hundreds. And then Tim English is also down, I think, about 10 or so on his average, as he started at, yeah. So all those guys are going down. It just sucks that Max Gawn is sitting there at 92.3. So yeah, it just shows that this ruck line has probably been the worst one, and you could have almost just started with Briggs and done just as well. If we look at where is actually Briggs, if we go to last round maybe or something, or 3-round average, maybe if we go to break even, it will help the best with Briggs to show it. Kieran Briggs, he got 90 odd in the first game, 86 against the Hawks. So maybe he's the guy, if we look that you can go GAWNNN to this week, in the next week or so. That will be an interesting discussion to have. But yeah, GAWNNN's been a little bit disappointing. McDonald, Pickett, 87.91. We can see him hopefully kick some more goals, and that will help his scoring. He could be interesting as a guy that's listed as a forward, but playing a hybrid role. Same with Petrarca. If he gets forward status, will be interesting, but he probably needs the full-time mid role, to be honest with you. Bowie, Salem, Fritsch, Ed Langdon, no one else here really matters too much. Jack Henderson, a little bit annoying for those on SuperCoach that just had to field him because of the injuries. He ended up on a 37-32 split. That's just a little bit annoying. Langford, 36-39, but it's kind of expected out of a small forward to do some of these games. So he's probably a guy that you got to go and let go next week. Is probably going to be, I think, around that 180 range or so, cash 10 wise. If we look at Jack Henderson here, yeah, he's probably going to be around that 180 or so range. I would expect if we go 32 here, probably 175. Yeah, 173. And has a 32 break even next week. You could probably move him on to someone that's going to be around that and get 70k there, and then almost do an upgrade in that point of time. So yeah, you could almost do a boost of Henderson, GAWNNN to Briggs and a rookie, plus then also upgrade someone else to to someone that's in the 500k range or whatever. So yeah. And then Rivers is just a watch on next year because his scoring is so far down. And then Spargo came on for a -1. So that's one of the first negative scores I've seen this year. But anyway, that is the video there. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe. Turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. If you are listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there. And I'll see you guys for the Saturday 3-game review tomorrow. Bye, guys.